All right, let's do some Mathity-Math. It says here, a company buys A trucks at B dollars per truck and C tons of plastic at D dollars for each ton. It spends a total of T dollars, where T equals AB plus CD. Write an equation for the situation presented. So this is the situation presented. Okay, so it's asking us out the gate to just write an equation. So I'm going to highlight that. It says write an equation. So that's our goal. We're just going to write an equation. Okay, I'm going to move down here to give us a little bit more space. Great. Okay, so the first thing we need to acknowledge is they've given us the equation we're working with. So this is good news. Essentially, all we have to do is fill in and be careful. So what I like to do on these types of problems is first I list off all the things that I might be dealing with. So I have T for the total, I have A for the number of trucks, I have B for the cost of the trucks, and it says here, I got C, that's for the tons of plastic, and I got D, and that is for the dollars for each ton, or the price of each ton of plastic. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of information here. And when you see problems like this, in general, the question will give you 4 of these, and your job will be to find the 5th. So a good place to start here is just filling in these values as we read through this scenario and go from there. So first things first, it says, find the number of tons of plastic the company can afford to buy. Okay, well right there we know that what we're going to be trying to find is the number of tons of plastic, and that is C. So we know this is going to be what we're looking for. And so ideally, we should now be able to read this and find T, A, B, and D. It says, if it spends a total of 200 million. So great, we know our total. Our total is 200 million. Okie dokie. Let's keep going. And it says plastic costs $700 per ton. So now we can fill in the cost of plastic. And we know the cost of plastic is D. So we know that's going to be $700 per ton. Okay. And it says it must buy 15 trucks. Okay, so we need 15 trucks. So that's the number of trucks. And it says right here, A is the number of trucks. So we know that is 15. And then it says, if we keep going, at a price of $3 million each. They are very fancy trucks. Okay, so the cost of a truck, which is B, is $3 million. And that is very pricey. They must be nice trucks. Okay, so then again it says, how many tons of plastic can the company afford? And that would be that C value that we don't know yet. So that's our job. So that's our second question. They want us to actually solve for C. How many tons of plastic can the company afford? Then it says round to the nearest unit the company can afford. Well, we'll talk about that when we get there. So step 1, we know that the equation we're using, they told us, is T equals AB plus CD. So we did a lot of good footwork here to just set ourselves up to succeed. So for T, I write 200 million. And it says equals. My A value is 15. And let's see here. My B value is 3 million. Oh boy, I did not leave myself enough space. I'm gonna cheat a little bit here. I'm gonna write 3 mil. I'll clean that up later. That's my bad. And then I'm gonna add that to, and what do we got here? C, we don't know. And then D is 700. My gosh, I did not do a good job with spacing. Okay, I understand that it's small and tiny and ugly, and I'm going to completely rewrite that right now to be a better math student. So I'm going to come over here and give myself some space. I'm going to rewrite it nice over here. 2 million, good, equals 15 times 3 million. And I'm going to add that to C times 700. Okay, so right here, this is pretty much the foundation for the first part where it says write an equation. The only thing we do have to do is when you're writing an equation, you really do need to take the time to do any math you can do on either side. Now, you don't want to start jumping across the equal sign and trying to solve yet, but you do need to complete all the math you can do on one side. So over here, this 2 million, well, that's fine. There's nothing you can do there. But we do need to multiply these two terms, and you do need to multiply these two terms. Okay, I'm going to draw some lines here to kind of space off my work. All right, let's do this. Let's write our equation that we would give for our answer. 2 million is equal to, and 15 times 3 million is 45 million. Okay, and then we're going to say plus, and 700 times c is just 700c. And that right there, that would be your answer to the first part. Write an equation. Very good. And then the second part says, well, how many tons of plastic could the company afford? Okay, well, we can do that. We just need to balance this thing out. So we can subtract 45 million from both sides. And if you're not sure about that, yeah, I always encourage you guys to use that calculator. But if you can just do 200 minus 45, you would know it's 155. So that would leave 155 million. Okay, 155 million is equal to 700c. Okay, and so now this c is what we're trying to solve for, but it is not isolated because it's being multiplied by 700. So we need to find the opposite of multiplying by 700, which is dividing by 700. And so we're just going to divide both sides by 700, and you're going to get 155 million. Let's make sure I did that right. 155. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, divided by 700. All right. And that's going to give me, if I look at my calculator here, it's going to give me 221,428.5714. Okay, so I'm going to come down a little bit just so we're not so scrunched on the bottom here. Okay, so now we know that we can afford 221,428 tons of plastic, and then 0.5714. But it says round to the nearest unit the company can afford. And this is kind of a bit of a trick question. You see, when we're always taught to round, we look here at this 5 and we say, oh, sweet, let's just round this up to 9, right, to the nearest unit, which is the ones place. But we actually can't round up to the 9, because if you think about it, this number is the absolute most the company can afford. They can afford no more than this. And if we round that up to 9, we're actually making this number bigger. And so that means this number is bigger than they can afford. So when it says to round to the nearest unit the company can afford, we actually have to round down to this 8. And so the unit the company can afford, the most the company could afford, is 221,428 tons. That's the most plastic they can afford. All right, there's your answer. Give it a box. Well done. If you want more practice, please subscribe, and I'll make new problems every day, and you'll get those. And if there's a problem you want to see, just leave a comment below, and I'll make a problem for you. Thanks.